to the Hallmarkies podcast. Merry Christmas. And today we are covering week 2 of the Lifetime movies. And I'm Amy, and I'm here today with my co-host Rachel.
Hi, everyone. Merry Christmas.
And a very special guest from our patron, we have Thad.
Hey, everyone.
Yay.
Merry Christmas.
Yes. So one of our patrons is on today. So just like him, if you want to be on the podcast, go over, check out our Patreon. There's so many different rewards and options, and there's so many fun things to do. Rachel, what's some of the fun options we have?
Yeah, you can join our podcast. You can, whether it's here or over on Rachel's Reviews. We've done that with Micah and Stacy joining for our review of Ratatouille, and that was his choice. And so you can do that. You can there's t-shirts for certain tiers. You can request a family movie night review. And you can be part of our Facebook group, which is a lot of fun. So if you're not part of the Patreon, I think you're really missing out.
Yeah, we even have some Secret Santa magic every year.
Ooh,
I won't tell you what that is, but we do. We have Santa magic.
Thank you so much for being a patron. We are so grateful. And tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a fan of these Christmas movies, these rom-coms, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Thaddeaus. I'm originally from outside of Baltimore, Maryland. And I always loved Christmas growing up, even from a very young age. And I think the Christmas movies just kind of helped set the mood. I started off with like Home Alones and the Charlie Browns and everything. And then as I got older, I think, when they started having more of the new TV movies, I kind of, I guess I just kind of got into the rom-com ones. And I think a very kind of particularly special memory for me was when I was in medical school. And I was like really stressed out, about to take a very big test for my licensing. I had to go down to Atlanta and stay with my cousin, and we watched a Christmas movie. It was actually a Hallmark Christmas movie. And it kind of just helped me to relax and calm down. We just had so much fun, laughing and enjoying the movie.
Which one did you watch?
It was actually The 9 Lives of Christmas.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
It's one of my
because she's studying. She's a student.
Oh, yeah. I'm a college student currently. So,
okay.
I cover 70, 80 Christmas movies every year, and it's my calming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do kind of help you to calm down and, at least when you're taking a break from studying, you can, put on one of these movies and just kind of escape, which was what I used them for.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm kind of feeling that this year because I do genuinely think that the movies have been better this year than they have been in the past. I definitely
agree with that. Yes.
For the most part. But also I think I've just needed them more.
I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
I think they're definitely like qualitatively better, but they've definitely, you appreciate them more because of how strange a year 2020 has been.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree. I forgot to mention also with the Patreon, we do every month, we do a watch along where we have a creator involved in the filming of the movie, in the creation of the movie there, and we watch the movie and we get to hear the behind the scenes details. Last month it was Carly Smale with Christmas Pen Pals. This month, we have Leslie Desmedridis. Sorry if I say your name wrong, Leslie. You're wonderful. And Kevin Duda, who are behind Two Turtle Doves, director and producer. And so we are going to be doing that on the, sorry. Let me make sure I got that right. I think it's on the 14th. Sorry, I'll edit this.
Maybe I shouldn't go to that.
You get behind the scenes of the editing we do.
But that's really exciting. That was a really good one. I think that was probably, if not, I think it was probably the best one of 2019.
Yes. So the 14th, we are going to have we're going to have Leslie and Kevin here to do the watch along. Two Turtle Doves, my favorite of 2019, and a lot of other people's favorites. It's going to be really cool. And so if you're not a patron, definitely check out the information in the description. You're going to love that. And then in December, here's a little secret. We are going to have Greg McBride, and we are going to be watching A Heavenly Christmas for the watch along, which is going to be so fun. So we've got lots of fun stuff for the patrons, and you've been to a couple of the watch alongs. You've attended, right?
Yeah, I think I've been to like 3 or 4 of them, and I've enjoyed them all. They've all been movies that I've liked, and it's actually been really interesting getting to hear behind the scenes, particularly from the writers and directors, about how they chose to kind of put the story together, how it even developed, little behind the scenes things about like what was improv, how they had to kind of shift things around to make things work. It was really interesting. So and it's just nice to watch it with a whole group of people that really enjoy the movies.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. I agree. So normally this episode of the show is going to be non-Hallmark Christmas movies, but this week it's just 3 Lifetime movies that we're going to be covering. There was one on Up TV this weekend, but you are all covering that over on your show over there on Upside, right, Amy?
Yes, so that will be out, I believe, mid-November, and we'll be covering the first 3 Up movies together. So
yeah. All right. Well, so let's dive in and talk about these 3 for Lifetime. And overall, I think Lifetime's had a pretty strong start. I think Hallmark's been just a tad better, but still, I think they've been pretty good. Right, so we're going to start off with Candy Cane Christmas. And this movie stars Beverly Mitchell, Mark Ganim. And this was on Halloween that it aired. And the summary is, since childhood, Candy Cane Lane has been Phoebe's favorite Christmas tradition. This Christmas, however, the neighborhood decides to skip the decoration, crushing Phoebe's spirit. As Phoebe is searching for a new tradition to lift her holiday spirits, she realizes that it's not the traditions we cherish, but the people we spend time with. And while preparing for her new tradition, Phoebe stumbles upon the final thing her Christmas was missing: love. So way to go on the summary there. Dad, what did you think overall of this film?
It was okay. I think I wouldn't say that it was my favorite, but it was okay. The main story, I don't know, like she kind of seemed a little like juvenile, like wanting to hold on to this thing from her childhood. But I did like how the activities that she did to kind of replace it were things that were helping other people. So I appreciated that she at least was, trying to go about, dealing with the loss of, something that she cherished so much by investing her time in helping other people. So that was very nice. I think the romance was interesting. We could talk about that more, I guess, later. But yeah, but overall, it was okay for me.
All right. What did you think of it overall, Amy?
Overall, I thought it was like average. It was okay. It was not my favorite. I would not watch it again, I don't think. But yeah, just like what you just said, I thought she was juvenile. She was very frustrating. It wasn't until like halfway through the movie that I even somewhat liked the main character. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I basically agree. It was a mixed bag for me. There were some technical things that kind of that hindered my enjoyment of the film a little bit. I thought that the background music was really loud and distracting, and it made it hard to sometimes even hear what the characters were saying. So that was a problem to me. I also thought that the script didn't really have a lot for them to do. It was a lot of just kind of them at work and them at the nursing home, and then like there wasn't a lot of like momentum and story kind of carrying them through. It was just kind of like what is that? Are they trying to do like a slice of life movie or something? There's just not a lot of plot here to me. So I don't know. I guess I like my Christmas movies in general to have a little bit more story to them. But all that said, I did like the two lead actors. I thought they were good. I thought there were sweet moments. I thought it was kind of fun when he's kind of tricking her into just standing under the mistletoe, and just some of the little like moments like that. And I also thought the whole idea of the movie was good. The idea of kind of we're adapting our traditions, and that's something that certainly rings true this year, of that so many things, whether it's Christmas or not, that was so important to us, we've had to kind of make an adaptation and find a new way to kind of satisfy that need in our lives. And here, she's had this tradition of this candy cane lane, and they didn't really bring it back, which I thought was kind of nice at the end. And so the ending worked for me, that's sometimes just not the way life is. You don't get the return of Candy Cane Lane, but you get this new thing that's actually serving more people, and that was kind of done just for her to make her happy. And so I liked that, that we've seen that so much this year. There's so many different things, whether it's a birthday party being replaced by kind of a little caravan of cars, honking, or I don't know, just little things like that we've seen adaptations this year. And I'm sure we'll continue to see that as Christmas pushes along. So I liked that. So there were good things about it. I also probably wouldn't watch it again, but I wasn't miserable. I didn't want to die watching it. And so it was mixed bag for me. Did you have that? Did you have any other parts that you particularly either liked or didn't like that you want to talk about?
So, like I said, the main thing that I liked was that she was doing something positive with the time that she had, that she would have been devoted to planning the Candy Cane Lane.
Yeah.
The whole romance and their like miscommunication was kind of interesting. I didn't really get like why she was just so just reluctant to pursue anything. And then I also thought that like when she was set up on this blind date, like the way I think she was like a little too hostile with the guy. Like any little thing that he said, she had to kind of have this like kind of wry comment. It just made her seem not as likable as you want your heroine to be.
Yeah. Why was she so resistant to a relationship? She'd had like a bad relationship, or
there was
something?
Like no explanation. The only
can't remember.
They talked about some guy, but it was just like, it was like a while ago. Like it didn't. I just don't understand why she was continued to like.
And it was mentioned in passing. It wasn't even like explained really.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing about him having a girlfriend, it's like he came in and bought flowers. There's so many other women you can buy flowers for in your life than your girlfriend. Why'd she go straight to that assumption?
And then like you could buy flowers for your boss. I mean, it could have no romantic feeling at all.
And then, like when she sees the hero at that mixer or wherever it was for the investors in that restaurant, she's all upset because he's with someone, but she's there with someone else. And I just wasn't getting why. It was like she was looking for any excuse to like not be involved. And I think you kind of want to see them to be a little bit more proactive and a little bit more like you actually want this relationship so that I can root for you to have it. So
yeah, they need to make you need to make your lead character. I think that maybe they're trying to make the character kind of complex or something, but you have to also make them likable. And I think that she's a likable enough actress just in her own human that that she pulled it off. But yeah, the script didn't do her any favors.
No, the
I would say.
conflict at the end as well. What she overheard like didn't feel like it was a full that would have I would have questioned what she overheard. I would have been like, what? I wouldn't have gotten mad right away because it wasn't like a full couple sentences. It didn't make any sense that she got so angry over so
very
little.
end, and I guess the part that she heard was, that she was glad that they were glad that the situation worked out with the ex and her or whatever. But I don't know. Just I didn't really.
I think this is the weakest of her Christmas movies, Beverly Mitchell. I liked her movie last year where she played it was a mom and daughter rock band thing reunion. I don't know. I forget what, Rock and Roll Christmas or something like that.
Yeah.
That was pretty, at least it was like different. It wasn't hardly a romance at all. And I thought that one was pretty good. And then Hometown Christmas, I just remember because of the snow room. It's my favorite. I loved that snow room. That didn't have anything to do with her, but I loved the snow room. All right. Well, 1 to 5, Amy, what would you give for this film? 1 to 5 stars.
2.5.
Okay. And what about you, Thad?
I'd give it 2.75.
Yeah, I'm the same with you. I will also give it 2.75. So there we go. And then we have Crafty Christmas Romance, and this stars Nicola Posner and Bradford B. Johnson. And the plot is that Mandy, the owner of a craft and hobby store, discovers an old copy of A Christmas Carol among donations for a book and toy donation drive. In the book is a letter to Santa from 70 years ago and a valuable coin. Mandy sets out to find the owner of the book, letter, and coin with the help of Jonah, a contractor who first came upon and donated the book. Along the way, they find clues that lead them closer to the author and to each other. But can Mandy return everything to the book owner in time for Christmas and make her own Christmas wish come true? And so I will start with this one. And there are a few things that I liked about this movie, but I think what they weren't able to successfully do is to make the mystery something that was compelling and didn't just feel like you're watching somebody researching a lot, which isn't exciting. And that's something that the Postables are able to do, and that's something that Martha is able to do through her writing. And I think that there's enough going on outside of that research in the Postables script that makes it work. And it makes you invested in the research because you have all this other plot going on. And the problem with this movie is that a lot of it was you weren't like invested enough in all the other stuff going on, so that the research was just kind of like, I feel like I'm watching somebody at a library, and that's exciting. And I also felt like the movie could have done a better job of kind of explaining her motivations, because there's a point where she could have very easily sold the coin and it could have helped her. And literally the only explanation that we get is because she loves Christmas. And that didn't seem like enough to me. I needed more reason of why she wouldn't have sold that coin. Literally nobody's looking for this. Nobody knows that it's gone. Nobody would have faulted her a bit for doing that. So the fact that that wasn't like more of a struggle, like, what should I do? I don't know, kind of a thing, was like, come on. Nobody, like, everybody would at least have like a debate. And she was just like, no, I've got to save Christmas, And so this one did not work for me. It's probably the weakest film that I've seen so far this year as far as Christmas goes. Like I said, I have a few things that I did like in it, but yeah, overall, it was not successful. Would you agree, Thad?
I think I'm a little bit higher on it than you are. I wouldn't say that it was a great by any stretch of the imagination, but I did think that the two main characters were pretty likable, and I think they had pretty decent chemistry. So I enjoyed kind of watching them together. But like as you said, there wasn't really much outside of this mystery, which didn't really have. There were like no stakes because this was a letter from like 60 some years ago. The girl the girl thought it went to Santa. She probably forgot about it.
Yeah.
So and I didn't understand why it was so important that she had to get it back, get this coin and this letter back to by Christmas. I mean, but anyway, I enjoyed their interactions. I wish there would have been more of it outside of this mystery. And I also think it can be tough when you have like the two people meeting each other for the first time and they're not like on opposite sides, or they don't have any kind of history or anything, blocking them. So they were obviously attracted to each other. So what was standing in their way of getting together? Like they didn't have anything about anybody having a past relationship where they were reluctant to get involved again. So why are they so like tentative? It's like they're in, are we in middle school or something? So that part didn't really, so I didn't really understand that either. And then of course, they kind of telegraphed, okay, he had these money issues, so she's gonna something was gonna happen to the coin, and she was gonna think that he took the coin or something. So so overall, I didn't dislike it, but I didn't really like it either. So.
Okay, great. What did you think, Amy? Where are you at on it?
It was bad. There's a lot of points both of you said that I was going to bring up, but mainly I was so uninterested in this coin. Like the mystery didn't really engage me that much. There wasn't, like you said, Rachel, like you both said, there wasn't like a real reason that was guiding either of these two people to be so invested in it. They never really explained that. I also think there wasn't enough between the two characters to me for them to like fall in love type of thing. There just wasn't, like, I didn't get a lot of chemistry from either of them because there wasn't a lot of them doing anything outside of looking for whose coin this was. And what you said about it being, is this middle school? That's what I was thinking when they walked in the high school library. I was like, oh, and this is where they both belong, and with the high school yearbook. But yeah, I did not enjoy this. It was very difficult to get through. I put this thing on 2x speed at one point because I was like, all right, let's get to the point here.
Yes. And I have to say, so there was a little bit of confusion online that I felt like the chemistry was a little bit weak. And one of our friends, Patrick, over at Lifetime Uncorked, he had posted that there was a 30-year age difference between the two actors, and I think it's the writer or one of the people involved. The actress Nicola Posner, she actually responded. She's like, oh no, only a 10-year difference. But what happened so the lead in this movie is named Bradford Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another actor named Brad Johnson who looks very similar. But
is that his father?
I don't know if it's his father or not, but is born in 1959. Mm-hmm. This actor is just 10 years older than Nicola, this Brad
mm-hmm.
Johnson.
And he's actually the brother of Bart Johnson, who was he's been in a couple Hallmark movies, and he was like, I guess, best known for being the father on High School Musical, Coach Bolton. So. Yes.
So Brad Johnson, I don't see a birthday, but I don't see a year date, but anyway, according to Nicola, he's just 10 years older than her, which is still a lot, but not 30. So just to clear up, sorry about that confusion.
Mm-hmm.
But they do look a lot alike. It's kind of crazy. So anyway, I do think that their chemistry was a little bit off, but I don't 100% blame them because I just felt like so much of the movie was them just like researching stuff, which is just not super romantic. And I think what it would have helped the movie a lot is if they had brought in the old woman way earlier and it given and had her sort of plot kind of going through the whole story. So as they come to revelation, she's also, you see her kind of needing and having a hard time with all of this. And so that when you, because the ending I thought was kind of nice when they do give her the coin and the thing and everything, that was nice, but I think it would have worked way better if they had started with maybe her, writing it and then gone all the way through and had her kind of somehow involved in the plot of the story somehow. I think that would have made it work a lot better. But one little random thing that I did like in this movie is that I liked the fact that the movie was totally cool with her having a Christmas by herself. Like, because one of the things that drives me crazy is when it's like considered this piranha, like horrible. Oh my gosh, how dare you mention the thing? And she was just like, I could sleep in, I could go to see a movie, I could open presents for myself whenever I want. It was great. I was like, yeah, that's right. Because that was one of the things that really annoyed me about Return to Christmas Creek was the way that the movie was so judgy about her wanting to
go on that
go on the cruise. I'm just like, what is wrong with you people? So I did like, that was a little detail I did like. And I liked the ending. I thought it was nice. But it just, the script was the main problem on this one, in my opinion.
The script did not aid these actors at all. I feel like that was the main problem for me, but yeah.
Yep. So what are you going to give it, Thad?
I'll give it like maybe 2 2/3, so like 2.67 crowns.
Okay, good.
Or stars, I'm sorry. Stars,
yeah, very good.
Hallmark.
Okay, good. Amy, what about you?
I gave it 1. Just because I was being nice.
I'm going to give it a 2. And there we go. All right. Well, let's talk about The Christmas Aunt. And this was on November 1st. This stars Keisha Knight Pulliam and Jared Joseph. And it is when Rebecca Miller returns home to Tennessee 2 weeks before Christmas to take care of her niece and nephew while their parents are away. The last thing she expected is to reconnect with her childhood best friend, Drew. As she attempts to revive the kids' Christmas spirit and redeem their faith in Santa, she rediscovers her favorite childhood activity, the 12 Days of Christmas, something she always did with Drew. As the kids' faith in the holiday grows, Rebecca and Drew's friendship returns, and she starts looking at Drew in a whole new light. So, Thad, what did you overall think about this one?
I enjoyed it. So I love Keisha Knight Pulliam. I was a big fan of The Cosby Show. I think it's probably one of my all-time favorite shows. If you're going into representation as an African-American, that show did so much as far as representing African-Americans in media in a positive way. So it was kind of groundbreaking in that manner. And Rudy was adorable and very funny and entertaining. And it's nice to see her all grown up. I think she brings a lot of warmth to the character. I really enjoyed the family, particularly her niece. I think that the niece was really likable. I enjoyed how, she was kind of trying to humor her little brother with this Christmas spirit and the Santa, and how both of them were kind of not so subtly, encouraging her to be with the hero. So which was cool. And I also like that the mother got a little side story as well. So I enjoyed this one.
Yeah. What do you think, Amy?
I really enjoyed this one, mainly because I feel like in Hallmark movies, Christmas movies in the past, when someone gets a call that you need to go take care of your niece or nephew or, whoever's kids, it's always I have to leave. I have to get out of work, everything. And her character, she was so excited and actively wanted to be involved with these kids and with their Christmas. And I loved that element. I feel like it's something we haven't seen really. And it just added so much to like the family dynamic, which I really, really enjoyed. I'm just glad that there is an aunt out there who actually likes their niece and nephew.
Yeah, as an aunt myself, I like to think of myself as the Christmas aunt. I would be thrilled if I could go, especially right now, and get to see my nieces in Virginia or in Oregon. So yeah, I appreciate that too. There really were no Scrooges in this movie, which was nice for this kind of a film. And this was way better than I expected it to be. The summary made it sound pretty generic, and it has its flaws. It's not perfect, but I really liked it. I liked all of the characters. And I think this is the best Keisha Knight Pulliam has been in one of these movies. For Lifetime. This is now her, I think, third. For Lifetime, and I think this one is definitely the best of the group. And I liked this Jared Joseph. He was new to me, but I thought he was really sexy in the movie. Was very attractive. The way that he kept like looking at her and then he bringing her those ices. I was a big fan of that. Like, you could get a long way with bringing me my favorite icy flavor. And that was just like a cute little thing that they did that I don't know, I've never seen in Christmas movies. The bring you your favorite icy.
Definitely Christmas, especially at Christmas time.
Yeah, it was cute. I liked it. And so that was fun. I also liked Pam and Tommy and their cute little like romance. And the fact that like Tommy's there at book club, like ready to go. That was cute. I'm like, why is nobody else at book club? I don't know.
It's because of COVID.
That's right.
It's a 2-person socially distanced book club.
Yes.
But the script was actually really solid in the way that it would follow through with things like they have the book club and it's on the Gift of the Magi. But then they later on have their own little like Gift of the Magi moment between Tommy and Pam, and where she gives him the teapot and he gives her the mugs, and they're like, well, we'll have to just enjoy them together. It was so cute.
And I also liked how, they handled their falling out, Keisha and Jared's falling out, because at first you think, oh, they were friends, and then they went to school and had different lives and just kind of grew apart. But it was much more than that, and they kind of came back to it, and it was that they were good friends, and he had a girlfriend that felt threatened, rightfully so, I guess, by their relationship, and she kind of forced him to choose, which is a real thing. I've definitely heard. I've had friends that have been put in similar situations. So I thought that was really interesting, and I could really I understood like how hurt she'd been, especially because it just really made sense. Like they'd been friends for like their whole lives, and I guess both of them were kind of reluctant to move forward into outside of into a relationship beyond a friendship.
Well, and there was another woman like involved somehow.
So basically, his girlfriend from like college basically was like, you can't be friends with her, or you have to choose either me or her. And he chose the girlfriend, and that's why she was like, she had been so hurt and upset, and that was why they actually had like a real falling out. It wasn't just growing apart, which and like I said, I've definitely heard of similar situations, and I really understood both of their positions. Like for him, he has this friend for his whole life. He's kind of in love with her, but he thinks that he's in the friend zone and that she doesn't see him that way. So he has to move on. He has to find someone else. So he goes with this girl, but he's still friends with this girl. And the new girlfriend can obviously see that there's something beyond friendship between the two of them. And, he had to make a choice. And I guess you know, he, in his trying to maintain their friendship or not risk their friendship by not trying to pursue a romantic relationship with her, he ended up ultimately, um, you know, losing that friendship anyway because of the fact that he got involved with someone else. And then I understood her position too. So I thought that was a really interesting addition to the story because because a lot of similar plots just would have just been like, they just lost touch during college. So I like that additional element to their history.
It was nice. It gave an element of forgiveness to the story, which was a nice message for Christmas. And then also, I also liked the fact that they didn't like reach too hard to force them to like plan a party or the concert together. Like she kind of was helping, but she was also still doing all her work. And there was still the 12 days of Christmas. Like she was just kind of like a normal guardian of these kids, and he was the normal teacher. And sometimes they kind of strain too hard to find a reason that, I mean, if you think of Christmas Wonderland or I was thinking about A Family Christmas Gift, the one with Holly Robinson Pete, that you're just like, would they really ask this person like to plan this big, thing out of nowhere? She isn't even living there. Like what? So I kind of liked that. And so they were just kind of actually going on regular dates. They weren't even like forced to be together. They were actually like dating.
They were
which
choosing
was nice
to be together. It was they were more proactive in, pursuing that relationship, which actually makes you, I guess, as as a viewer, more invested in their relationship. Like, oh, these people really want to be together. Look at how they're constantly like finding reasons to be together and not just put together just because they're planning a party or they're trying to save whatever it is that they're trying to save. So.
Yeah, I agree. Amy, what did you think of the winter formal?
Oh, the pretend winter formal that the kids planned. Okay, that was adorable. Okay, I know it ended in a fight.
So cute.
But that was so cute. I think this movie was so full. Like, if you want to get your fill of like Christmas activities, there was so many different fun activities, but it wasn't like too much. It was just like, people, kids, family having fun, doing fun Christmas things. And then this formal with the capes, and they had little crowns for them. That was so cute. And that was so sweet of the niece and nephew to do that also. It was so cute. It was adorable. I loved it. The best part of this movie for me was the kids. Like, honestly, the kids were awesome. The little fun activities, like there's just so much like fun Christmas, like, making snowflakes and just fun Christmas things. So.
Yes, I agree. Also, I thought, because at first I thought he seems too old to be super believing in Santa. Not to our listeners, the believing Santa, we totally endorse that and support it. But I was a little bit surprised, but then they work it into the plot that he is too old, and he actually gets picked on about it and bullied about it. And I was like, oh, okay, they thought this through. There's a reason why, because I was like, they should have cast a younger child. Like, he's a little too old, I think. But then it actually made sense. I was like, oh, good job, screenwriter. You did a very good job. And I don't know who you are, because there's no IMDb for this movie for some reason. But whoever you are, if you're listening, way to go. You did a good job, I think, with that. And so I agree. I liked the whole idea of the 12 Days of Christmas was really cute. And we've seen that a lot of times, but I don't know, it was just executed really well.
And I think they sold it pretty well, the actors. And I really enjoyed her enthusiasm and the kids' enthusiasm in going about all these activities and stuff like that.
Yeah, because a lot of times the 12 Days of Christmas are somehow involving adults, like that one with Meredith Hanger, where she gets all the real gifts from the 12 Days of Christmas. She's getting swans and whatever. Yeah. I like that one. That one's in Bobby Campo.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one too.
Yeah, that one's fun, but this was fun also to have it be for kids because kids are so much about the magic of Christmas. Before I started doing the podcast, I had a couple years where I was pretty kind of not very super into Christmas because I was just by myself and it wasn't as fun. And there's something about Christmas that even though I just barely talked about how I support the single Christmas, I do. There is something about especially experiencing it with kids that's extra magical and great. There is one major flaw with this movie, though, as much as I'm praising it. It had some of the worst fake winter I have ever seen.
I don't feel like there really was much winter in this movie. Like
particularly the scene where they're having their little hot cocoa date and the kids are building the snowman and there literally was just like a pile of snow in a circle in the middle of the lawn.
Wait, but they said that it hadn't snowed yet, so she got fake snow. She actually addressed that she was going to get fake snow. Yes, because they were saying that it hadn't snowed yet, and they couldn't do. I forgot what it was exactly that they said, but then she said, "Oh, we'll go get we'll get fake snow." So that was
gosh, I still have it on my DVR. I'm gonna have to rewind it and watch that because I did not hear that.
And I mean, it's they were in Nashville, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't always snow there.
So I lived in Nashville. Actually, that's where I went to medical school, and it snowed at least once every year that I was there, and I lived there for over 5 years.
I was like, what is this?
Usually not until January. So, and it's December. So,
yeah. I was just like, what is this? Like, they didn't even try to like do us because sometimes they'll have like a sprinkling on the bushes or the grass. But that makes me feel better about it. I don't know how I spaced on that. Did you hear that, Amy? Was it just me?
I just assumed it was fake snow because I didn't think it snowed that often in Nashville. But
yeah, I mean, I knew it was fake snow, but I thought it was bad fakes. You know what I mean? That they were trying to fake it.
No.
And so I was like, "Ooh, that was terrible fake winter." But I somehow missed that. That's good. That's why I'm glad you're here, Thad, to tell us because I missed that. But then the other thing I would say was a bit of a flaw in the film was I thought the ending, I wanted to have a shut up and kiss me moment because they were just talking way too much. I'm like, oh my gosh, just kiss already. She was just going on and on and on about school and
I think that his character
means more, and then he would talk and then she was talking. It just felt too much. I'm like, just stop.
And I think that his character was a perfect shut up and kiss me type of character.
Yes.
He was one that would have done that.
Yes.
Especially for as long as they've known each other and wanted to be together, all that talking wasn't necessary.
That's right. Like, yeah, it would have been like so much better if he had just seen the little exhibit or whatever, and like we didn't need to know the whole explanation about how she got the job and how she left and all. I mean, it's just if he just.
I did appreciate the whole thing about getting the job because. But they did kind of throw that in that, she was at this museum. Yeah, it was a little too long. And I think that whole, like all those exhibits going through each little thing, they could have waited till after they kissed.
Yeah.
It's like, they could have just shown her kind of walking him through it as they panned out or something like that. I don't know.
Or do you agree, just Amy? Like there's a little montage.
Yeah,
a little montage. And also some of the things they explained, I'm like, were just kind of basic kid things. So I'm like, you kind of just could have looked at it and like assumed like, oh, they probably did this together as children and we don't need a whole explanation about it.
Yeah, I agree. And also like I felt a little bit bad because I love me an epic quit moment. That's one of my favorites in these movies. But I felt a little bit bad because her boss hadn't really done anything.
She didn't explain at all.
The thing I will think that the calling her like, oh, come immediately, Christmas Eve, we booked your ticket for 2 hours from now, go, was a little, which it's interesting that she has so much time to go and explain and then stop by to see the guy, like, Well, the Nashville airport usually isn't that busy, but or at least it wasn't when I was living there.
But yeah,
But
like 2 hours to get on a plane, like
yeah,
packing would take long enough. Like, geez, how did she have time to do all that extra stuff?
But yeah, I don't know. I was just I was just gonna like stop talking, be done with it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like her boss was just like, you did such a great job, and usually, yeah, I couldn't have done it without you. You were my rock or something like that.
yeah.
And then she's like, I quit.
Yeah, that was interesting, but but and they kind of put in at the beginning how she wanted to do more like outreach and teaching, and the boss was like, oh, and she kind of just coddled her and was like, oh, we'll see if we have time to do that later. And it was really like a very half-hearted kind of thing. And it looked like at least the former curator at the museum in Nashville was more like, it seemed more open, especially since she's going to be the curator and in charge of it herself. She can do those things. So
as much as I love an epic quit, and I really do, I think that one probably deserved a more of a medium grade quit. Like, thank you so much for all the opportunities you've given me and whatever. Instead of, you were my rock, I couldn't have gotten through it without you, I quit.
Yeah.
Not bad for the
I'm
boss.
leaving right now.
I was like, well, geez, she just like poured her heart out to you, and you just were like, nope.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I loved in this movie that we haven't mentioned is I thought the Santa was great. Not only did you have a black Santa, which is cool and that you don't see every day, but he was just great. He was really good.
He just like was so believable. I was like, oh, he's just he has a jolly face. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
he was really good. They should definitely use him again. This was a big surprise to me. It's probably my favorite from Lifetime so far this year. So I'm gonna be generous. I'd watch it again. I'm gonna give it 4.25 stars. What about you, Thad?
Okay, so I liked it, and I would watch it again, but I will give it like 3.25 stars.
What about you, Amy?
I gave it 3.5 stars.
Very good. All right, very good. So that's the 3 movies. Let us know what you think if you got to see any of these 3, and what you thought and how many stars you would give them.
So Rachel, where can we find you on the internet?
Yeah, you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please check that out.
And then, Thad, is there any links you'd like to share of yours?
No, I don't really have much of us. I mean, I have a little Facebook and Instagram, but not anything that anybody needs to follow.
Okay.
If you want to hear more from him, join the Patreon.
Yes.
And then you can comment to each other.
Yes.
If you want to find me anywhere on the internet, you can follow me at It's Amy Craig, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Pretty much, it's Amy Craig. I want to thank you so much to our wonderful patron for coming on. We appreciate it so much. Thank you for supporting us.
Thank you.
And thank you for having a conversation with us. We appreciate it. So if you want to find the podcast anywhere, you can find us all over the internet at Hallmarkies Pod or Hallmarkies Podcast. If you want some cool merch for Christmas, you can go over to our merch store, which is tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies. And also, if you want to follow us on go over to Patreon and support us over there. It's patreon.com/Hallmarkies. And again, thank you so much for listening and or watching. Leave your ratings and reviews, and we will see you all very soon. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.